Everyone, this video is for section 7-5% application solved with equations. Our current question reads, Mateo tells Jasmine he needs 15 more points to reach an A in the class, which is a 2% increase in his current point total. If Jasmine has 700 points, will she also need 15 points to get an A in the class? Ultimately, to get at the heart of this, we need to actually know how many points does Mateo currently have in the class. Because if, for example, he's at 800 points right now and he needs only 15 points to get an A, then Jasmine is woefully behind compared to Mateo. Likewise, if we look at it another way and say that he currently is sitting at maybe 500 points in the class and only needs 15, then Jasmine doesn't have to worry. She's well ahead or well above 500 points, so she's already in the A range. So in order to begin figuring this out, we're going to go ahead and use our equation method. And hopefully you've seen enough of these by now, meaning these videos, that you are aware of what I'm writing down. Oop. Okay, so just in case you're not sure, the whole, again, is talking about your base value or your starting value. Our percent, we want to note we need to convert into a decimal form in order to work with it. And then our part is going to be, in the case of a percentage increase or decrease problem, this is going to be the amount of change. How much has something increased or decreased? So in this case, if we're talking about Mateo, I don't know how many points he currently has, so I'm going to place a variable in there just to hold that spot for me. I do know that his percentage is 2%. So I need to convert that. And again, I'm going to send that decimal point to the left 2 spaces to create that 200ths. And again, hearing the words 200ths should make sense because 200ths is the same thing as 2 over 100 as a fraction, or in other words, 2 per and cent. And recall that cent stands for the word 100. So we know that the part, or the amount of change that he's going to experience, is going to be that 15 points. So if we do this division, and sorry, I might be getting ahead of myself, we need to go ahead and clear the 200ths from the left-hand side. Notice that the 200ths is connected with the variable through multiplication. So we want to undo it, and that's why I had said division. So we're going to divide both sides by 200ths. The result is going to be x is equal to 750 points. This is where Mateo is currently sitting with his grade. So clearly, in this case, if Mateo is currently sitting at 750 points and Jasmine has 700, she's going to have to do a little bit more work. Specifically, we now know that in order to get an A, if Mateo currently has 750 points and needs to add an extra 15, in order to get an A in the class, students have to have 765 points. So we know that Jasmine will need an extra 65 points. So in her case, again, if we use our equation method, and I want to make sure that I color code this correctly, sorry about that. Again, it's going to be whole times the percent is equal to the part. In this situation, we know that Jasmine has 700 points. And say I want to know, well, what percent does she need to increase her grade by? In other words, what percentage of points does she need to increase it by? Well, I don't know what her percentage is, but I do know that she needs to add 65 to it. So in order, again, to get that variable isolated, I'm going to break that multiplication or undo it by dividing both sides by 700. And then I'm going to get x is equal to 0.0928571429. And again, this is the decimal form of my percentage. So I'm going to locate that decimal point and send it back 2 spaces. This now tells me that Jasmine needs to increase her point value by 9.28571429%. But that's kind of long-winded. So let's go ahead and round it. So in other words, I'm going to round it to its 10th place. Nowhere in the directions did it say to round to this place. I'm deciding. So if I want to round it to the 10th place, I'm going to look to the digit to the right and see that it's an 8. So that's going to tell me that x is going to be approximately 9.3%. So Jasmine needs to increase her point total by 9.3%, while Mateo only had to increase his by 2%. I hope this explanation was helpful. If you do have any questions, please let me know.